What if I told you that a psychological tool from the 1950s, yeah, the 50s, holds the secret to understanding your true value in the age of AI? Today, we're going to talk about the one thing that AI can't ever replicate, your personal, lived experience.
So let's just get right to it. This is the question on everyone's mind, right? I mean, when an AI can write a legal brief or code an entire app in just a few seconds, what's left for us? If an algorithm knows more raw facts than we could ever hope to, what does being an expert even mean anymore?
You know, to really get a handle on this, we need a new way to look at the whole landscape of knowledge. And funny enough, the perfect tool for the job has been sitting right under our noses for decades. We just need to give it a little AI-era upgrade. Okay, so this is the classic Johari window. It came out of the 1950s, and it was designed to help people with self-awareness. It's actually a really simple but powerful grid. On one side, you have what you know about yourself and what you don't know. On the other, you've got what other people know about you and what they don't. And this gives us 4 boxes. The open area, which is stuff everybody knows, your blind spot, things others see in you that you don't, the hidden area, your secrets, and then the unknown quadrant, a total mystery to everyone. Now here is where it gets really interesting. What happens if we just swap out the words? Instead of self and others, let's plug in AI and humanity. All of a sudden, this personal development tool completely transforms. It becomes a map of our entire knowledge ecosystem, perfectly showing the relationship between us and artificial intelligence. So now that we have this new map, we can start to see exactly where the most valuable, untapped knowledge is hiding. Let's dive in and explore what each of these 4 quadrants is really telling us.
This just lays it all out so perfectly. So quadrant 1, that's public knowledge. Stuff both humans and AI can get to, like Google Maps. Easy. Quadrant 3 is private knowledge. Think about a law firm's internal files. We know it, but it's locked away from AI. Now quadrant 2, that's where it gets wild. Hidden correlations that AI can see, but we can't. But the real treasure, the most valuable piece of this whole map, is hiding over in quadrant 4.
And this 4th quadrant, this big unknown area, is what we're calling personal practical knowledge, or PPK for short. I mean, just think about it for a second. It's the sum of your totally unique journey. It's every messy project you've ever had to fix, every difficult client you've ever dealt with, every single failure you learned something from. It's all that expertise that exists only in your head and has never, ever been written down.
This quote just cuts right to the heart of it. Your most valuable, hard-won wisdom is basically invisible to the entire world, and that includes AI. And that's both a huge challenge and, honestly, a massive opportunity. It means you are sitting on this untapped reservoir of expertise that by its very nature can't be easily copied.
Okay, so if this personal knowledge is so incredibly valuable, how do we actually drag it out into the open, right? How do we make the invisible visible? Well, let's look at a real-world example of an organization that's doing exactly that. It's called the Industry Professor Association.
This association basically lives and breathes in that 4th quadrant. Their entire mission, their whole reason for being, is to create a system that finds, validates, and brings an expert's personal, practical knowledge out of their head and into the light where it can finally get the recognition it deserves.
Now, this philosophy is a total game changer. They believe your value isn't just about what you're going to do next week. It's built on the foundation of everything you've already done. By taking ownership of the past, they validate your entire career journey, not just your current job title. It's a huge shift in thinking. And they do this in a really systematic way, using 3 key pillars. First up is duration. Now think about this. A company you used to work for might only recognize the 5 years you were there. But this association, they recognize your full 20 years in the industry, even if that was spread across 5 different companies. It's the whole picture. Second, they validate industry recognition, awards you've won from your peers. And third, they account for high-level education and qualifications.
And here's the part I really love. They make this recognition tangible. We're talking about framed certificates, lapel pins celebrating 20 years of service, coffee mugs, real physical things you can hold. Now, these aren't just little trinkets. They're actually powerful weapons against imposter syndrome. They make your expertise feel concrete, and they help build this amazing community of validated professionals.
This whole approach really points to a massive shift in how we think about education. You know, the old model was all about learning inside the brick walls of a university, but the new model, It recognizes that real learning, the kind that builds up your PPK, is social. It happens everywhere, on the job, in a coffee shop, even at the gym. It values the expertise you get from real-world experience, not just from a textbook. So, after all that, what does this actually mean for you and for the value of your own knowledge? Let's pull it all together.
So where does AI fit into all this? Well, it's not the enemy. It turns out it's a massive accelerator. There's this formal process called recognition of prior learning. And when you use AI to help document and verify all that experience, it has been shown to boost productivity by a staggering 1,000%. So AI is actually a tool to make our human experience more visible, not less.
And this really brings us to the bottom line, the ultimate takeaway from all of this. In a world where AI can scale information to infinity, the one thing that is scarce, and because it's scarce, is becoming more and more valuable, is your unique, unscalable human experience. Your PPK is your ultimate competitive advantage.
So I'll leave you with this to really think about. What problem have you solved? What messy human situation have you navigated? What unique insight are you holding on to that an AI could never, ever possibly know? Because that's not just a memory. That is where your real, irreplaceable value is hiding. Thanks for tuning in.